Mike Galime is the president of the Common Council. So budget, garage, higher office, a couple of topics I want to hit. I'm going to start with the budget.
I haven't been in a while, so we got lots.
Yeah, lots to talk to and little time to do it. So talking about a pretty hefty, 7.8% tax increase?
That's the proposal, yeah.
The mayor says he doesn't see how you're going to be able to get down without cutting services. What do you think?
He said that to a couple different press agencies, and passing the budget right to the council and going out of the gate and going on, the media and saying that, I think is a little presumptuous. That's putting the onus right on the council that it's assumed they have to do that, and the council needs to consume this.
Yeah. Have you looked? The budget is a lot of numbers.
Yes,
big,
I have looked at it. I've got a lot of
preliminary
questions. Yeah, I got a couple things here and there, but basically, what I've done right now is gone through and compared it to last year's. Because there's a lot of preliminary questions I have when you look at something like that, because from year to year there's lines that change, there's lines that are added, there's lines that are zeroed out. When you add a line, there's zeros for the preceding years, so there's a lot of interpretation involved there that needs to be clarified.
Yeah. 7.8%, it's almost 8%. That's a big number.
It is.
And can you think you can get it down below the 2%, whatever the tax cap is?
I think it's unlikely at this point.
Okay.
That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unlike school districts with municipalities, you guys just pass it. School districts are in a situation where they have to have a supermajority.
No, we're in the... Oh, okay. I thought you were going to reference the tax cap. Yeah. Okay.
You have the tax cap.
But you have to do something special to override that, don't you?
If we are above the effective 2%.
The council has to...
Same thing, yeah.
Is it a supermajority of the council, or is it just the majority of the council that has to approve it? How does that work?
I think in the case, we've gone through this a couple years in a row, even though we haven't had to act on it. With the tax cap, you can do it when it's introduced with a supermajority for this specific situation.
Okay. And I know that it's much more difficult for school districts because they have to have a supermajority, like 60%, I think,
right,
of the voting public within the district. Very difficult. And if it were to be voted down, it automatically goes to an austerity. That's a real problem. You guys have a much easier path to get it done if you have to get it done.
Well, easier path to figure out the tax cap, but not the 7.8% that's been proposed.
Yeah. I want to switch gear. Do you have more on the tax cap, anybody? Because I want to, or on the tax increase.
Fire away.
I want to ask you. I want to ask you about the garage. Yesterday, we've had people telling us one way, telling us the other. We finally gotten the word that the mayor does not have the right to place the city of Utica into a financial agreement of this size on his own.
You are 100% correct.
It will then be sent down to the Common Council.
Yes.
When that happens, we do not know what the council will look like.
I wanted to deliver that news, but you got
I'm sorry, I did get it. But what I want to hear from you is what an awful mess this could create if the council votes it down.
Exactly. So, you and I have been going back and forth for almost 3 years on this, and that's why I've been harping on the fact since the very beginning. I wanted to see an appropriate decision, open process, because here we are. Even yesterday, during the interview, it was discussed that they think that the garage funding is all set.
Yeah.
The reality is it's in the EAF. It's in the actual application that the hospital had to apply for, that the council is responsible for that. So that's known. That's known throughout all the parties. And the issue I have is what they did is they've committed up front, with that MOA, that the city is going to help pay for that parking garage ahead of the council, who's actually the responsible party.
We don't know. We also don't know when this vote could come.
It might not be this council.
It might even be this council.
We don't know what the budgetary restrictions are going to be in the year we have to vote on something like that.
Right.
So, talk about horse before the cart. This is your prime example.
It had to be done, but wouldn't it have been better if you had the blessing of the council? Even though it wouldn't have changed anything, it
same
would have looked better.
Same problem, because if the last session's council voted for it, this is a whole new council.
Yeah, this is tricky.
It is tricky.
Yeah, very tricky.
Now, here's the issue with the parking garage right from the very beginning. A lot of people were pointing out cost with the hospital. How is the hospital going to pay for all this? Everyone said it's going to be taken care of. It's going to be taken care of. Right from the very get-go, 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of people question that. How are we going to pay for all of the ancillary things that go along with an actual hospital building? Everyone said it'll be taken care of. Here we are, 3 years into this process, and there's serious question on how we're going to pay for a garage. After it was already 100% committed, 6 months ago, this was all locked up. People said it wasn't locked up. There was all this disagreement. went to basically the court of public opinion, which is the biggest mistake over and over and over again with every issue. And here we are, applications are filed, responsible party, council. Could have been that simple before.
Yeah.
People could have just admitted the fact.
Tim asks, what is the mayor and the council, what are they doing to cut contractual obligations when the contracts come up for renewal? How about changing the fire department staffing? 24-hour shifts to something else might save money. Is that an area where you can cut costs?
I can't answer that question in the context of this interview. I mean, I'd have to study that.
Is that something that is worth looking at? I mean, it'd be very controversial.
I know that's something that prior administrations have looked at during their budget preparations. I'd have to ask the mayor himself if he's looked at that. I don't want to speak for him.
Okay. We're I hate to say it, out of time, but we've hit some really big things.
Yeah, I know.
Here.
We just
right to the action.
Man. It's a good time.
And this Aaron Hamlin thing, the
Aaron Hamlin thing is really bumming me out.
That is angering me.
I cannot stand every single positive thing that goes on lately. I feel like it's just shrouded in some kind of controversy.
We can't get through a single godforsaken thing without a controversy.
Nothing positive.
Ceremony.
Nothing positive.
All right.
Yeah.
All right there, Mr. Galime. Thank you for your frankness and your time this morning.
Well, thank you.